Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Long Rest. I'm Logan,
And I'm Brandon.
and today we're going to be continuing our dive into the classes of 2024 D&D. Today, we've got you the Cleric.
The Cleric.
So, Brandon, what is a Cleric all about?
This one's probably the most easiest of anything. They are the healer. They are somebody that is given their life to be an acolyte of a god.
Yes.
They are choosing a domain of a god to follow, whether that be whatever pantheon you so choose. But they are the worshiper and the follower of that deity.
Absolutely.
It's where they draw their power from.
Yeah, okay.
More specifically.
So, with that in mind, we, just like our other videos, are going to be filling out a character sheet as we go along. Hence, that graphic over there. I hope I pointed to the wrong side.
It'll pop up now.
That's not fair. He edits these. Anyways, our cleric for today, we're going with the classic cleric name, Dylan. Dylan is a dwarf. And they are a cleric. So, at the first level, as a cleric, obviously with every class you get starting everything that you start off with.
Yes, your proficiencies.
So the first thing before you even get into proficiencies is your hit dice. For clerics,
some would say you're proficient. D8.
It is a D8.
Our most common one of the factors.
So in our hit dice, we're going to put a D8 as what we roll. Sick. Okay. Past that, with the cleric is when we get into the proficiencies. So we have saving throw proficiencies.
Yep. So our wisdom or saving throws are wisdom and charisma that we are proficient in as a cleric.
Absolutely. So saving throws, we get proficiency here on the wisdom and the charisma saving throws.
Yes.
Now you might be wondering, why would a cleric get charisma saving throw proficiencies? And I read into the thematics of it, and it's to make them basically a bulwark of force against mental override.
Oh,
so that way they can't get charmed.
Yeah,
essentially, it
absolutely
prevents them. They have that purity of mind that prevents them from getting charmed.
Yeah.
Is the kind of like thematic reason. Because I even read that and I go, that's goofy. Why?
Yeah.
So I answered it.
Yeah, that's a very good reasoning.
Anyways.
That's a great point. Next, we get to pick two of the following. So we drop into our skills here, and so we can pick either history, insight, medicine, persuasion, and/or religion.
Okay.
We get two of those.
Absolutely. I'm going to pick these pretty arbitrarily to just kind of help build out Dylan. So I'm going to go with religion.
Good choice.
And insight.
Yep.
Insight is underneath the wisdom one, so we got proficiency in religion and insight. Awesome. Okay, so now that we have our saving throw proficiencies and our skill proficiencies, we get weapons.
Yes,
weapons and armor.
Weapons and armor. So out the gate, clerics are only proficient in simple weapons. And on the armor side, are only proficient in, I should say only, but light, medium, and shields.
Light, medium, and shields. So what you're saying they lack is heavy and martial weapons.
At the current moment.
At the current moment.
You will have the potential for that change.
Is that foreshadowing?
A little bit. So that takes us through pretty much all of our initial proficiencies and starting things outside of our equipment.
Yes. So equipment-wise, clerics get to start out with one of the following. A chain shirt, a shield, mace, holy symbol, priest pack, and 7 gold pieces, or 110 gold pieces, whichever.
So your session 0, hopefully with your DM, will kind of help guide you in how you're going to do that part there.
Absolutely. That leads us right into ability scores for your cleric. Ability scores are honestly decently flexible with cleric.
Absolutely.
Obviously, you're going to have the ones that are priority for what you're going to be doing, but otherwise, you've got some movement in there, as with all classes, truthfully. Right. But with cleric, your main ability is probably going to be wisdom.
Absolutely, yeah.
Wisdom is your spellcasting modifier, and clerics are known for being wise.
Yes.
So the higher your wisdom, the more potent your spells are going to be, the better your healing is, everything in between.
Right.
So I would prioritize wisdom on our point buy method, or standard array, sorry, is what we do here. On our standard array, I'm going to put our wisdom score at the 15, so that's going to make it a +2 to the modifier. So I can go ahead and fill out the saving throw. I know I have a proficiency of, So that's going to be a +4 to saving throws for wisdom. And then I know my insight is also a +4. Everything else is +2 underneath the wisdom category. So now that we got wisdom figured out, our main stat, what's our next stat?
We're definitely probably going to push into Constitution for a couple of different reasons.
Yep.
You are the cleric, so you do want to stay up. So HP never hurts anybody, right? But you kind of more specifically than others. The other big flip side of that coin is concentration checks.
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty important. You're going to have some pretty useful concentration spells at your disposal and opportunity. And you're going to want to make sure that you are doing your darndest to keep those up. You know what I mean? So we're definitely going to put Constitution at a 14.
Absolutely. So that's what I did real quick while he was talking was score for Constitution is 14. The modifier makes it a +2. Our saving throw is a +2 as well.
Now, I mean, it really, this is the part where in most classes it comes down to flavor and what you're trying to build out.
Right.
There's a lot of choices.
There is. So my next personal move would be the physical stats.
Yes.
Strength or dexterity, one of the two, and the choice between the two is going to flush out what your cleric is going to be doing.
Yes.
If you go the dexterity route, know that is contributing to your initiative, all your or your dexterity based skills like stealth, but also your armor bonus, unless you get heavy armor, in which case dexterity doesn't factor into it. But if you stay with light or medium, dexterity is that modifier.
Correct.
So if you're worried about getting hits and initiative, or getting hit and initiative, dexterity would be a priority.
And so this comes down to which we're alluding this a little early, but you kind of have to have a little bit of a plan here because you will get the opportunity to gain the proficiencies very early on in the early levels with like martial weapons and heavy armor.
Yeah, with the cleric class, early on you get to choose between either being more proficient in spellcasting or a more melee focused cleric, and that's for class abilities, not subclass, which is very cool.
And so that kind of that mold there is where your choice kind of needs to follow.
Exactly.
Because if you need that strength for those attacks, you're going to want that next.
Yeah.
So,
because at a bare minimum, just to wear heavy armor, you need a strength score of 13.
Correct.
So if you're going that martial weapon route, I would not dump strength. I would keep that as our next stat.
Yeah.
For Dylan is a total, he's a bro from what I would guess. He's going to go that martial cleric. So we're actually going to put our 13 of our score into strength. That way, when the time comes, we are more proficient with martial weapons. We can deal more damage, and we can wear our heavy armor.
For sure.
So that gives us a modifier of +1. Saving throw, as I joke, also a +1. Athletics, a +1 as well. Perfect. Next is whenever I would choose, if you didn't choose strength, you can certainly dump dexterity. It is one of the most common saves, so that is a caveat there. And the rest of those stats are going to be for flavor.
Yeah, I would definitely say I would go dex next. You're going to want that little bit, maybe just that positive on all those stats that matter, especially if you're rolling with disadvantage with heavy armor.
Yeah.
You're going to want that positive on initiative.
Yeah.
You're not going to regret it later on.
That is true. With a higher initiative also means you get to act quicker into combat, so you can make sure people are healed before they fall. So, one way or the other, the rest of these stats will go with dexterity being next. So in the standard array format, we've got our 15, our 14, and our 13. So we've got 12 left. That leaves us a +1 to the modifier and a +1 across all saving throws and abilities, acrobatics, sleight of hand, and stealth.
Perfect. Now with our last two being charisma and intelligence, for the most part kind of writes its own way. It makes the most sense to make charisma next. That we can gain the most benefit of your proficiency that you're gaining with it.
True.
On the saving throw side. And then on the flip side, intelligence, you are cleric, you're based off wisdom. Generally, that's when your opportunity to kind of dump the other stat. Now you can definitely rotate these, but I think for our sake here, we're going to do 10 in the charisma and then 8 on the intelligence.
So I'll go through and fill that out real quick. Charisma score 10. That gives our modifier of a 0. So our saving throw, since we got proficiency, is a 2. Everything else is going to be a good old goose egg for deception, intimidation, performance, and persuasion. Intelligence is going to be our dump stat. He hasn't been hitting the books, the books have been hitting him. And so we get a -1 to the ability modifier, and then saving throw is a -1, Arcana, -1, History, -1, Investigation, -1, Nature, -1, and Religion. We do have our proficiency in that, so we're going to get a +1 to religion checks. Excellent.
Perfect.
So we got our stats sorted out. We know we're going to be a cleric.
We do.
This means we're also a level 1 cleric.
Correct.
So we start getting abilities. What is our very first level 1 ability for clerics?
Our first level 1 is, just real quick on a caveat of multi-classing. If you do plan on multi-classing as a cleric,
Thank you.
You do have to have 13 in your main stat, your primary. So
Which is Wiz.
Wisdom, yep. So you either have to have 13 in your wisdom to multi-class out or / multi-class into the class.
Correct.
But that does take us into our very first level. So at first level, you unlock spellcasting, which wisdom is your modifier. That's your primary stat, which is key why we were first to go in that one. So your DC for all of your spells will be 8 plus your proficiency bonus. So at level 1, it's a +2 plus your wisdom, which we had a +2. So like, just for example, our DC would be 12 out the gate.
Correct.
The clerics are one of those cool classes where you get the opportunity every long rest to change them out.
You sure do.
You have prepared spells, and that is a very neat aspect of the game because
You think neat? I was thinking daunting.
it is. It can be.
Nothing is more frustrating to me if I had the opportunity to prepare that spell and I chose something else, and then for whatever reason that one niche moment then that spell would have changed everything.
Yeah.
I don't have it prepared and I look dumb. I hate those moments.
It is tough. I mean, you are gonna have spells that you're probably never going to take off.
Yeah.
50 to 70% of your spells might not change, but you'll have the opportunity. You know, hey, this little niche one here, we're going to do this in this environment. I can take this spell instead. It'll fit perfect. You know, it's that kind of time where you get to kind of bounce as you know, in the mornings, either hitting a prayer or what have you in your vicinity of your character being able to swap those spells out as you prepare them.
Yeah.
So,
one little caveat to that is when you choose your cantrips, those can be only changed out at level ups. So your cantrips are at least somewhat set in stone. Once you level up, you can change 1 per level up. But the actual spells themselves, prepared any day, you can change those willy-nilly on a long rest.
You also, you know, mainly use your holy symbol as your spell focus is pretty common for most. And that directly ties us to divine order that
Correct.
you unlock at level 1.
I will stop you right there.
Sure.
On the spell casting, did you mention that your spells are regained on a long rest, nothing on a short rest?
I did not, no.
Okay, gotcha. So to recover spells, you do have to long rest on a short rest.
Correct, yeah.
So.
Which is the standard for most classes. There's really only, locks and... locks?
I think so, yeah. Everything
You
else
roll
is
the
some
other ones.
kind of, they do typically have some kind of way
Yeah.
to recover some, but not all. Yeah.
So, with divine order, you get to choose between 2 things, and that's either being a protector or a thaumaturge.
Yes.
And this is kind of where we talked about earlier, picking those stats based off kind of your options here. So protector gives you proficiency in martial weapons and heavy armor. And now obviously this means you're going to be in that strength based. That's that mold.
Yep. So Dylan is going to be taking that protector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. And on the flip side, if you would have went maybe that quicker route just to not be that strength based, you'd have thaumaturge, which you would gain an extra cantrip, and as well you get to add your wisdom modifier to Arcana and religion checks, which is pretty cool in
Yeah.
the grand scheme of things, especially since we dumped intelligence.
Exactly.
That is a very nice addition.
Yeah. It's always an awkward conversation around the table when everybody's like, "Oh, we need somebody proficient in religion." Ask the cleric, and then the cleric, a wisdom-based caster,
Yes.
is not proficient in religion, a intelligence-based stat.
Right.
This allows them to have hit those books, to understand not only their gods but the pantheon or anything to do with religion in general.
Correct.
That gives you that proficiency bonus, or that gives you the bonus to those rolls based off your wisdom modifier. Pretty cool.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So it takes us right into level 2 next.
Level 2, what clerics are really known for is, aside from healing, is their channel divinity. So this is where you do get that option. And this is a chunk of text. So I'm going to read this out to you just to make sure I get everything right. But at level 2, you get 2 uses of your channel divinity. You get more as you level up based upon the cleric class table, but the DC for any spell saves that you force from that channel divinity is equal to your spellcasting DC, which is 8 plus proficiency plus wisdom modifier. Then the one of those castings of channel divinity that gets replenished on a short rest. But to regain all uses, you take a long rest. So that is nice on the fact that some sort of your abilities do replenish on a short rest.
Yes.
Past that, you get 2 choices. The first one is Divine Spark, and the other one is Turn Undead. So with Divine Spark, what you do is, as a magic action, you point your holy symbol at another creature within 30 feet of yourself. You can do 2 options here on the Divine Spark. First option is to restore hit points to something. That is specifically another creature. Big caveat there. You cannot heal yourself, but you heal another creature with 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier. Or your other option is you can force that target to make a Constitution saving throw, again, against your spell save DC. And if they fail, the creature takes 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier of another choice, radiant or necrotic damage.
Right.
So really cool. You just get to add a little bit of flavor to your cleric here. Either you're healing or you're hurting, and then when you do hurt, you can either necrotize them or burn them with holy radiance.
Right.
So pretty sick right there. Most importantly is you get half damage on a save.
Correct.
So regardless of what you're doing with that channel divinity, you're pumping out a little bit of damage.
Yeah, you at least don't lose it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love that. Very important to this ability as well is that 1d8 of damage and healing does increase as you level up. So at level 7, 13, and 18, it goes up by d8 each time.
Pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell me all about Turn Undead. That's a classic one.
Yeah, Turn Undead is, you're probably familiar with it if you played 2014 or earlier, but we'll go ahead and refresh those that may or not. So as a magic action, you are able to wield your holy weapon yet again to beat back the tide of the undead that are coming towards you, right? So each undead of your choice within 30 feet of you must make a wisdom saving throw, and on that fail, the creature is frightened and moreover incapacitated for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
A minute in combat is a long time, or many things.
Yeah.
That creature then must move as far away from you as possible on its turn. Again, very useful. And
yes.
if the creature takes damage, you fall incapacitated, or if you die, the effect ends. So it is kind of one of those where maybe you're either trying to gain space, maybe just trying to run away. Undead army is chasing you guys down. You have that opportunity to kind of flip the tides a little bit and get away. But it is always a very useful spell.
Yeah. So not only are you forcing them to run away from you, but you've also incapacitated them.
Correct.
Huge.
Yeah. That, as well as long as your team party doesn't hit them.
Yeah.
That is a huge caveat to it. So
yeah.
It can get washed really quickly.
Right. Yeah.
So.
A great way to look at this is this does give you the opportunity to pick them off individually. Only attack them when you're ready for them to become
unincapacitated.
Thank you.
Correct.
I was going to get there
able
eventually.
Knock around the ladder as you just work your way down each rung.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So don't hit them until you're ready, but
Sure.
otherwise turn those undead.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Excellent. So that leaves our second level spell or second level abilities all the way into third level. Third level, just like every other class, is when you get your subclass.
It's a big one.
So there are 4 subclasses to choose from. You either get light domain, life domain, light and life, trickery, and then war.
Yes.
Each of those are going to have their own little specials or flavors. We'll get a video all about that in the future. So check out there.
And now you've leveled to level 4, which is our standard ASI, ability score improvement and or feat.
Yes, sir.
Pretty standard. Now you're kind of this is where you're flavoring your character to what its needs are. Does it need stats? Does it need feats?
Yep.
So
Yep,
that is
absolutely.
a personal choice for sure. Then we go into 5th level.
5th level, Seer Undead. So when you use your Turn Undead Channel Divinity feature, you can deal radiant damage to any of them that failed. You roll a number of d8s equal to your wisdom modifier and add them together. The damage, most importantly, does not end the Turn Undead feature.
Huge.
So it doesn't stop that incapacitated condition. They still are incapacitated, and they just took wisdom modifier d8 worth of damage.
It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
And especially because it is radiant or necrotic
right.
against undead creatures.
Yeah, so You get that undead campaign coming up.
Yeah.
There's your moves.
There you go.
6th level, we don't have anything.
You're going to gain some spells.
Yeah, you will gain potential spells. You won't unlock a new level of spell at 6th level, but you might gain. I'd have to actually check the chart to see if you gain additional, which you probably do unlock 1 or 2 spells.
Yeah.
So you do get something.
Absolutely.
Which takes us right into 7th level, which we get Blessed Strike.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do choose again here. So you have either Divine Strike, which once per turn when you hit a creature with a weapon, you can deal an extra 1d8 necrotic or radiant damage to the creature. Or you can continue with that potent spellcasting and add your wisdom modifier to all cantrip damages.
Exactly.
So this kind of still falls back into that first void where we picked on level 1. Are we up close and personal, or are we way back in the distance and being safe?
Correct. Yep. So just makes your cleric more powerful at the end of the day, building upon the features that you already have. 8th level, ability score increase and or feat. Choose wisely. Moving on. 9th level, you just get spells.
Yep. You do unlock 5th level spells, so there's some benefit there. With the odd level, so you do get a fun bump. 5th level spells definitely open the door for some strong ones.
Absolutely. Once you get past 9th level is 10th level. This is another classic cleric flagstone feature. It is their divine intervention. I will say though, 2024 divine intervention, vastly different than what we're used to.
Yes.
Personally, I like this one better. It makes it a more hard, fast rule instead of kind of up in the air and what happens. This one defines it exactly. So what you do with the divine intervention is any spell that you know of a 5th level or lower, you cast it for free. The only caveat is it cannot be a reaction spell. Even if that spell does have material components, it does not consume them. Huge. You know what that reads to me? Divine intervention, you do not need that diamond for Revivify. It just happens.
Yeah. You get a 1 free go.
Exactly.
Per day, because that is a feature that resets on a long rest. So for once per day, you do have an absolute emergency ripcord that you can go get out of jail free card. Nobody else can fall. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
But I saved the day.
Yeah. You also, on top of not spending out spell components, you also don't spend a spell slot. So even if it's not, Revivify was just the easy example, you can also just throw out a massive damaging spell. You can upcast a 5th level guiding bolt and really just smoke the enemy for free.
Yeah. And the fact that it doesn't take a spell, like if you're holding that in your back pocket that whole time and you guys have been in this grueling fight or something and you're down to, this is those times where you have like a 1st level spell slot left is all.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, I really need to bump something out. Like, boom. Like, this is your chance to really pop it out. You haven't had to use it for Revivify to save the day. I'll just pop out some damage. You know what I'm saying? Or a nice AoE utility spell or something. They definitely have some of those in there.
Exactly. Or if there is a spell that does take, it does take your material components and you don't want to use them at that point. You need to conserve it.
Very important.
And you can do that once per day too. So really get creative with what you're doing that for. But most importantly, that is a resource you have to be spending as a 10th level cleric.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't sit on this one.
No.
Once we get divine intervention, we do hit the dead zone.
You do hit it a little bit, don't you?
11th level, you get nothing. 12th level, you do get your ability score increase and your feat, one of those two. 13th level, you also get nothing. You're getting spells during those levels or the feat ability score increase. But you got a little bit of a dead zone right there until we finally get to level 14. At level 14, we get improvements to what we were already doing.
Correct.
So that thaumaturge we took earlier, or even the protector, they're going to get even better.
Right. So we get improved blessed strikes. So this is a direct correspondent to what your choices were earlier.
Yep.
So if you chose divine strike, the extra damage of your divine strike is now increased to 2d8. And on the flip side, if you chose potent spellcasting, when you cast a cleric cantrip and deal damage to it, creature with it, you can either give yourself or another creature temporary hit points equal to twice your wisdom modifier. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it really incentivizes casting cleric spell or cantrips.
Yeah.
Because not only are you doing guaranteed damage of at least your wisdom modifier, no matter what you roll on that dice, you're getting a wisdom modifier damage. You're not wasting a spell slot, And then you also get to give somebody temp HP.
Or yourself, and just the ability to actually use a bonus action spell and still feel prominent on like your action.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
No
it feels
kidding.
very good.
Yeah.
Where in 2014 you kind of felt like you lacked it. It's like, well, I have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
And,
Right.
It's kind of unfortunate.
Very true.
So this takes us into the back half of the dead zone,
Yep.
potentially. So 15th level, we don't have anything. 16th
Correct.
level, you do get your ASI, so ability score improvement or feat.
Yep.
17th level will be a subclass feature.
Yes.
And I'll just take us there. 18th level, nothing. Again, we're gonna let that one pass. And then that takes us right to 19th level and 20th level. 19th level, you're fine. 19th level is the standard epic boon or feat.
Yep.
That'll be a choice with your DM, figuring where that lies. But that is epic boon or feat. And then it takes us to our capstone.
Capstone, you're basically BFFs with your god. Every time before you roll initiative, you're gonna dap him up, hit him with that fist bump, and then anytime you use your divine intervention feature, you can choose to cast Wish.
What was that?
You can choose to cast Wish.
Insane.
Pretty wild.
Yeah.
If you do so, you cannot use your divine intervention again until you finish 2d4 long rests.
Which is still like not bad.
No.
In the grand scheme of things, for all the capstones, that is up there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool just to be able to call on your god and be like, man, I really wish this was happening. And he says, yes, I got you.
I got you, dog.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to wait a little bit. You're gonna tire me out, but I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Hey, there's Dylan.
There you got him. Everything you need to know about Dylan the Cleric and the Cleric class in general.
Yeah, a nice little walkthrough there. One thing we have noticed is just like a little caveat. In 24, it definitely feels like they've helped try to level out the gaps between spellcasters and martial classes.
Yeah.
We've definitely seen where in these later levels, these spellcasters are definitely class featureless as they empower those spells.
Yeah.
So compared to some of those martials.
Exactly. And the biggest features you do get just from the raw class is how to make your spell casting a little bit more powerful, or whatever you're doing with that class a little bit more powerful.
Right.
As opposed to martials, it's giving you ways to make your features more interesting.
Yeah.
So we like the changes.
Yeah, absolutely. We love them.
Yeah.
So, hey, that's the Cleric for 2024/5.5.
Yeah.
Let us know if you have any other tidbits that you'd like to share with anybody. Comment down below. If you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'd greatly appreciate it.
Please do.
We have all sorts of information in our description for like all of our socials. And if anything, I think we'll see you next week on Saturday.
See you next Saturday.
See you.